Hey guys, welcome to the Rat Grind channel. I hope you had a great day today. I just wanted to give you some update on the trade that I did today and some news on cryptocurrency that I wanted to share with you, and also some information about the blockchain, because a lot of people have been asking me what exactly is the blockchain and how it works and how does cryptocurrency really work. I know I showed a video yesterday. It was sort of comedic in a way, entertaining, but I still get a lot of questions about like how does it actually work. And there was an interesting video that was done by BBC actually that I'll share with you guys that I thought encapsulated exactly how Bitcoin and how cryptocurrency in general works. But let's get started first with the trade that I did today. I told you guys yesterday that I sold a position on JNUG, right? And I was able to make some gains, and I was holding on to a ETF, an oil ETF, directional oil ETF that was Gush, Gush. So as you can see here, guys, if you can check out my Robinhood account, I made about I think about 2% today. I mean, it's showing here 1.35%, but I made more than that. It's just because I went ahead and sold my position. But I'll show you guys my history here. You can see that I bought Gush yesterday at $246.95. I bought about eight shares of it at about $30.90, and I went ahead and today I was able to sell that at a total of $254.40. That's about a $4 or $5 gain, and I sold it when it was $31.80. So if you can see my Thinkorswim TD Ameritrade platform right here, this was yesterday and this is today. Let me just zoom in here. So you can see right here, I put an arrow on it. This is the position that I took. I bought it about $30.90, I mean. And then I went ahead and was able to sell it at about here. I wasn't, it was peaking up, but I felt that it was hitting this resistance on the VMAP line. I mean VWAP line. And I felt it was, I felt there was some resistance that was happening here. So I went ahead and just put in my sell order at $31.80, and as soon as it got filled, I went ahead and exited that position, and it went down. I mean, it actually went up a little bit more to 32.22. I could have made more money there, but I felt, you know what, I already made my gain, and I'm gonna exit the position because I wanted to be able to have enough time, because I had a busy day at work today, so I wanted to have some time during my lunch break to actually look at another ETF that I found value in. It was actually JNUG that I just sold yesterday. So I took another position in today on it because it was dropping. And actually, I already made a little bit of a gain over the after hours. I'm not sure if it's going to continue trending up or it might drop down just a little bit, and then we'll see if it can recover. So let me show you guys that real quick. So let me get on JNUG here. All right, guys. So this is today. So I bought it around here. So as you can see, it was actively trending down. It was about around 11 or so that I bought it, 11 a.m. 11 almost noon Pacific time that I got into this particular ETF, and it went down a little bit more before the market closed, and actually it closed at 14.25, even if I bought it at 14.35. So there was about a 10-cent decrease that I experienced there, but I felt that it would bounce and it would go back up, and that's exactly what it did. It bounced on this this line right here, the support line, and it bounced up, and over the night it's been trajecting up, and right now I believe it's here, as you can see, guys, it's $14.48 currently. So I got it at $14.35. So I've already made less than 1%, about 0.91% gain on this particular ETF. So I'm pretty excited about that, guys. So I'm really hoping that it continues that trend. But as you can see, there's on the 1 week chart, there's still some gains to be made. Hopefully it can hit this line right here, about 1478. That's sort of the line that I'm hoping that it can sustain, because it kept that during this particular time from April 24th to April 25th, right? This is exactly when I sold that position. I bought it here last time and I sold it up here, and it stayed up there and it popped down and then it went back up here. So that's the same play that I'm trying to get at for this particular trade, because I find value in it. So we'll see tomorrow. I'll keep you guys updated. Right now my account over the last since I started it, it's about 25% gain over the past year. So that's pretty good. Today, like I said, I earned almost 2%. I'm not sure why it's showing negative 135 actually, which is kind of weird. I'm not sure how that works, why it's doing that. But as you can see, the chart here, I mean, clearly it shows that my trade has been going up. So it's I'm doing well on it, and I'll keep you guys updated tomorrow. All right, so let's get on some cryptocurrency stuff. All right, so the first thing I wanted to share with you, like I said, it was this video. It was made by BBC News, and it's how cryptocurrencies work. So I just wanted to share this with you guys, so that we can get all on the same page, and also for the people that kept asking me the same question over and over. So this is for them. This is a very short video, so enjoy. I'll be back in just a second.
When you want to buy something normally, using your normal bank card, this is what happens. I give my card details to the shop. The shop asks the bank if I'm good for the money. The bank checks its records to see if I've got enough in my account. If I do, it lets the shop know. It updates its records to show the movement of money from my account to the shop's. And it takes a little cut for its trouble. Now, if you wanted to remove the bank from that system, who else would you trust to keep those records and not alter them or cheat in any way? Well, I wouldn't trust you. I wouldn't trust you. In fact, I wouldn't trust any single person. But I might trust everyone. The idea is you don't have a central record of transactions. Instead, you distribute many, many copies of this ledger around the world. Each owner of each copy records every transaction. So, to buy something using cryptocurrency, I give the shop my details. The shop asks all the bookkeepers if I'm good for the money. The bookkeepers all check their records to see if I have enough. If I do, they tell the shop, and then all update their records to show the movement of money. So there's no way that a forged transaction can make it in. If I try to alter a ledger, it won't match all of the other copies, and it gets rejected. Oh, and one of them, at random, will be given a reward of some newly created cryptocurrency. This is how cryptocurrencies work. And remember, all of these bookkeepers, all of these ledgers, they're not actually people, they're computers. Lots of computers. When you
So guys, I hope you found that interesting and educational, even for just a little bit. I know a lot of you who are watching this channel may already be very familiar with how blockchain, Bitcoin, and cryptocurrencies work, but that was for the people that were not familiar with it. I did get a question I get this question a lot, and I just wanted to share that video. I mean, it shows a very interesting thing about how cryptocurrencies and how this whole open blockchain system, decentralized open blockchain, is going to revolutionize the way we bank, the way we transact money, because you can be able to send money instantly from where you are, anywhere in the world, without having to go through a third party. Because you have these miners, basically those people that were wearing masks, they represent miners, and those computers that he was referring to the end of the video, that is exactly what that computer does. It mines, it basically calculates transactions to guess a number, a hash, cryptographic hash, and then it takes that data that it collects and plugs them into the blockchain. It's like an open database that is encoded, that is encrypted. So the transaction happened, but only the two people that were transacting have the keys to be able to open that transaction and see the details inside. So that's the important thing, and that's how cryptocurrencies are going to change the way we do business, the way we engage in our day-to-day banking system. That's why the banks have been basically all over this. They were bashing it and all that stuff until they figured out, well, IBM is starting a blockchain. They've opened up their Hyperledger blockchain system, and they made it available, and they donated it to the Linux Foundation, who's opening it up, and these banks are able to create a centralized blockchain system. So basically, a cryptocurrency, which is not really, we don't consider a cryptocurrency, it's called Ripple, and that is basically an example of how institutions are using the blockchain to be able to transact just like Bitcoin. But as far as it being decentralized, it isn't. So that's the drawback of it. But regardless, it eliminates a lot of the inefficiencies of how we do banking. And I know I send money to another country. I usually go through a bank. I have to withdraw my money. I have to then exchange that money, on Western Union, and Western Union sends it to a local bank, and they exchange money again for that person to receive the money that I had sent them. It's gone through so many hands, and transaction fees and days had passed. But if I send a Bitcoin, it would normally take just a fraction of the cost of having to go through all the exchange rate, or all the banking fees, all the transaction fees from Western Union. And then, by the time they get it, it'd probably be a couple of days. But if I transact on cryptocurrency, they would get it within that day or within minutes, depending on the traffic of the system. But of course, there's still limitations on the blockchain system because it's a new technology. It's still pushing the boundaries of what it can be able to do. The transactions per second is still very minimal. That's why there's a lot of infrastructure blockchain actually out there that are trying to improve this. There's like Cardano, of course there's Ethereum, there is EOS, there's Ion, there's Neo, I think I mentioned Neo, there's Kyber. There's a lot of them that are trying to solve the transaction per second problem that Bitcoin and Ethereum have, because Bitcoin can only do less than 10 transactions per second, and Ethereum is the same. So there's still some limitations to it, but eventually, just like the internet, I mean, if a lot of you still remember, we had a 14K dial-up internet, and then we upgraded to a 28, 56, the AOL days, and now look, we're talking about gigabytes of data being transferred on a day-to-day basis. We can watch videos, and that just happened in a few short years. So this thing is coming. And it's gonna grow, and it's gonna change the world that we live in. So that's why I wanted to share that with you guys. So just some quick updates on the cryptocurrency market. The cryptocurrency market is actually down. It went down a little bit, under 400,000 today. And some of our cryptocurrencies, main cryptocurrencies like this one, you can see like Bitcoin is down 5%, Ethereum is down 5%. So there's a slight correction that's happening, but as you can see, it's already pulling back up. So it's just, this does happen because nothing can go all the way up. Let me show you. See the chart here, it's correcting just a little bit on this side. We're keeping within the 8,900 level on Bitcoin, and on Ethereum, it's still above $600. So we're still doing good. I mean, the highest today, it went up to, I think, almost 9,700. Yeah, about 9,600, 9,700. So there's a lot of there's still a lot of potential. Like I mentioned yesterday in yesterday's video, there are some resistance on this line right here. So this is about the 9,800 level. There's a resistance there, and then there's a resistance here, and there was a resistance down here. You know, there's a lot of steady resistance on the 9,800 level. But once it breaks through that, then we should be able to go up to about 11,000. So keep an eye on that, guys. And we're hoping that it can go up to a higher market cap this coming weekend. Normally on the weekends, because people don't trade during the weekend, so it tends to go down a little bit. So I'm expecting that. So if you're looking into being able to get into cryptocurrency, you know, watch out for those dips. You know, get a trading view account. Look at when it's look at the 1-day chart. I'm looking at the 4-hour chart right now. But if you look at the 4-hour chart, it's going down to oversold levels on the RSI. So once that hits right here, it may not. I mean, as you can see here, it went down, but it never went all the way down, all the way to, this was in March 29th when it was all the way down here. So it was at the 6,700 level. So I don't think we're going to hit that, guys, because it's almost close to being oversold, and we're not even down under 8,000 yet. So it might just bounce a little bit on this on the support line, and if it does bounce, goes back up, then that's going to be a great sign of it, you know, continuing the semi bull run, which eventually, hopefully, it turns into a mega bull run. That's what we're all hoping for, right? So I mean, I was reading an article about that. You know, after the first 2 weeks of gains, markets are down across the board, Bitcoin below 9,000. But I mean, there's nothing alarming about that. So it does happen. Nothing goes up forever, right? As long as it doesn't dip like it did, that's all we're hoping for, right? So I just wanted to share some news today that I found interesting. So one of the things that's going to happen on the 27th, not tomorrow, but the day after, the CME Group futures is actually expiring. So that could be a catalyst for things to go down a little bit, because, you know, there's you know, some money that's going to be lost in the market. So if that happens, just sort of watch out for that time. That's expiring on the 27th. CME is I believe the Chicago Mercantile Exchange Group. I think that's what it means. So look it up. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I believe that should be accurate. So that is expiring. So just watch out for that. You know, just keep that in mind. Another thing that was new today, I'm not sure if this was, oh, actually maybe this was yesterday. I just wasn't able to report it. I didn't I was holding on to my cryptocurrency positions, so I wasn't trading yesterday. But I found that the Binance, which is one of the biggest exchanges, actually they finally were able to create a feature where you can convert dust into BNB. So dust basically, you know, as I told you guys before, with cryptocurrencies you can do fractions of a coin. And with that said, you know, because you're trading in pairs, you know, Bitcoin is a fraction of a coin. I mean, you could trade using a fraction of a coin. Ethereum, you can also trade a fraction of coin. Fractions of Bitcoin, just for you to know, one Bitcoin can be divided into Satoshis, right? So a Satoshi is like, I think it's 100 millionth of one Bitcoin. So a lot of people think we're all dealing with, like, you have to own one Bitcoin or one Ethereum. One Ethereum, it can be divided up into Gwei. That's what it's called. I don't know where the name came from Gwei, but Bitcoin is from Satoshi Nakamoto, who was basically the founder and creator of Bitcoin. So that's what it's named after him. But basically, because of that, you are able to buy, using fractions of Bitcoin, fractions of Ethereum, you can buy fractions of coin. So of course, those things don't always match up all the time, because there's always going to be dust that's left out that you can't trade, because exchanges have a minimum exchange value that they want you to exchange with. So when it doesn't meet that, then when your balance becomes too small, then you can't trade it anymore, unless you buy a little bit more of that coin and then go ahead and trade it. But a lot of us that trade on a regular basis, we just sort of leave them there because they're just, a couple dollars worth. And when we go ahead and trade that pair again, then that will get rid of a dust because it will just package it all up. But now Binance is actually allowing you to convert that dust into BNB, into actually their Binance coin. So, which is pretty amazing because you can use the Binance coin to actually pay for the transaction fees or the trading fees, which is relatively cheap, guys. I don't know. I mean, I'm trading on Robinhood, but I'm not sure how much the actual trading is when you use like stock trade, TD Ameritrade. I know I have a TD Ameritrade account, but I haven't traded on it. I'm just using it right now. I have $50 there. I'm using it mostly to learn about the space and stuff like that. I forgot. I'm not too sure what their rate is, but for Binance, it's actually 0.05% if you use the Binance coin. So that's relatively cheap, guys. I mean, as long as you're earning 0.5%, you're basically making money. So that's a great thing. You don't have to lose out on fees. So just for those of you that are trading on Binance, that's great news because you can empathize with seeing those dust on your balance. So that's great news. Another thing that's happening is Neo is actually, they're going on tour. So tomorrow they're going to be in Zurich for a meetup and workshop. They're trying to push the Neo blockchain platform. They're trying to get more developers in. They're trying to get more ICOs, cryptocurrencies, to use the Neo blockchain platform, just like Ethereum. Neo, for those of you that don't know, is they're calling it the Chinese Ethereum. It's supposed to be the Ethereum killer. So we'll see how that all pans out. But it's a really good project. It's a really, really good project. And a lot of you probably that are watching this are very familiar with it. But anybody that's new, that is watching this, that is just getting into cryptocurrencies, Neo is a coin that you definitely have to keep an eye on. It's currently trading at 74 cents, I think. I take that back. $74, I believe. Oh, $72 actually. And it went down all the way to actually like $50, guys, and it was crazy. It actually dipped a lot. Wow. That was a big correction for it. But its all-time highs were, I think, 100 something. So there's definitely a lot of room to go back to that. So just keep an eye if you are looking into getting on some long-term hodls. Hodls is hold, basically. It was misspelled and they call it hodl. A lot of you already know that, so I'm just probably like preaching to the choir, but that's basically what that means. But they're going on tour, and that's one of the days that they're gonna be talking and meeting up with people. And I'm not sure if there's announcements that are gonna happen, so watch out for that. There might be some good announcements that are gonna come out of there, and then the coin might pop up. So just keep an eye on it. This is actually gonna happen on the 27th. I'll probably report this again tomorrow. Bodos is another cryptocurrency that is big on like creating an ecosystem for like robotics, VR, Internet of Things, and stuff like that. It's more like a network platform, basically, like an ecosystem of different blockchain and different cryptocurrency companies where they can be able to use the Bodos platform. And they're releasing a new white paper and website on the 27th. So usually this happened with Nano when it used to be Rayblocks and it converted its name to Nano. The coin usually pops up. I mean, this is not financial advice. I'm not saying that's exactly what's going to happen, but just watch out for it. And as you're learning this space, see what news, what changes do cryptocurrencies go through for it to be a catalyst for maybe a pop up or a drop down. So just kind of watch these factors for you to be able to understand the market conditions that get these currencies to stay up or, like I said, drop down. So keep an eye on that. So I want to show you one of the biggest news that I read. I just actually read about this before I went home from the office today. As I was just checking out some news from my phone, I saw this interesting news. NASDAQ. This is a big headline on CNBC. I'm sorry about that. It's a big news on CNBC. NASDAQ is open to becoming a cryptocurrency exchange. That's what the CEO of NASDAQ says. That's huge, guys. I suggest you read up on this article. They say that once the market smooths out and the space matures, they're very willing to host those cryptocurrency companies in joining the NASDAQ. So that would be a great thing. There was some news about, I think, related to this. That's why probably the CEO came out and talked about this, was the Winklevoss twins. If you're not familiar with the Winklevoss twins, they were in the Social Network movie. They were originally part of Facebook. Supposedly Mark Zuckerberg took the idea from them, or they had some disagreements, and so they were bought out of the project, or they sued Facebook and stuff like that. So the Winklevoss twins have always, since the early days of cryptocurrency, since the early days of Bitcoin, they have been a follower of it. They're a big proponent to creating regulation from the cryptocurrency space. They were one of the proponents when there was the big Mt. Gox hack in about 2013. Yeah, it was 2013 when Mt. Gox basically supposedly got hacked, and went away with a lot of money. And just so you know, guys, there was a big news that happened a couple months ago, where basically because of the hack, the Mt. Gox trustee is required by the court to pay out those victims of the Mt. Gox situation. So for them to be able to do that, they're holding all these Bitcoins, so they're selling them. And they were the ones that were dumping like 100 millions of worth of Bitcoin into the market just a couple months ago, and that was one of the big catalysts for it to drop, because the market was already correcting, and people that trade we have stop losses, and sometimes it hits that because there's somebody that they want to sell their coin before it drops, so they go ahead and do that, and it hits the stop losses of a lot of people, and it goes it just drops, and then people start panicking. They're, oh my god, this is the end of the world, and they start selling. So it's just a catalyst for a big drop. So that's what I think happened. But I mean, of course, I've only been in this space for a couple of months, so I'm not expert on it as much as a lot of other people, a lot of other YouTubers, a lot of other market experts that have been doing this for years on years. But putting together a lot of the news, a lot of the things that I've read, that I've seen, that I've heard, this is sort of one of the reasons why that probably happened. So for NASDAQ to come out and say that, hey, we're going to do this, it's great news. It's because, like, as you can see here, they have a deal with Gemini. The Winklevoss twins actually have their own cryptocurrency exchange called Gemini. So Gemini is partnering up with NASDAQ, from what I understand, because they want to protect us. They want to protect the market from market manipulation. And of course, NASDAQ is a very mature exchange that has all these technology, has all these softwares to sort of protect the market, to protect the exchange from those illegal activities, right? But because in cryptocurrency, it's not yet 100% regulated, so they want to be able to use the NASDAQ software to be able to protect us when we do the trades. And Gemini is the first one that's partnering up with them. So that's probably one of the reasons why they're getting more bullish on it. And like I said yesterday, I think JP Morgan, the Bank of America, even George Soros is getting in on it. Rockefellers are getting in on crypto, Bitcoin, blockchain, and all that stuff. So there's a lot of reason to be very, very optimistic about this space, and I am very optimistic about it. So one of the last things that I wanted to share with you guys was actually I know that a lot of you wanted to get in on cryptocurrency, and how do you think you can make money from it as far as trading? Like I mentioned, there's multiple ways to make money. There's buying a coin when it's ICO, basically initial coin offering. If you are not an accredited investor, unfortunately, you can't do that in the United States. But if you're from another country, you can definitely do that. Just look out for coins that are dropping. You can go look ICO drops and a few others. Just Google them. You should be able to find where you can see when ICOs are coming. These are new projects. You just have to read the white paper, analyze the team. I'm going to share with you in another video sometime in the future what I do to analyze coins, right? How do I look at the opportunities, the team, how I rate them, how I rate the project, is the blockchain needed and all that stuff. I'm going to share with you my criteria in doing that. But that's one way for you to make money. Mining is another way. Holding coins, waiting for long-term gains. It's another way for you to be able to make money. And another way, excuse me, I still have a little cold and I have a little cough, so I apologize for that. Another way is for you to trade like I do as well. I mean, I'm doing all of the other things, but I'm also trading. Sometimes day trading, swing trading, buying and holding for, a couple of days, a couple of months and stuff like that. But I wanted to share with you what I look for in a trade and when I get into a trade. So I usually get on like this. I'm using Binance as my main exchange, right? So I look at the volume. I look at coins that have a big volume, right? Because the more volume the coin is, there means there's a lot of circulating supply, and if you ever get stuck on a position, you could be able to sell it because I'd hate it if you bought a coin, it drops, you get stuck with the position, you set your stop losses, but your stop loss is not going to get filled because there's not enough volume that's going in and out of that coin or in and out of that market. So it's important for you to look at coins, pairs that have a lot. And if I'm trading Bitcoin, I really look at Bitcoin with at least 500. I know some people have a lot lower, but I just want to be very safe, guys. So I look at the ones that have a volume about 500 Bitcoins and up. So if you look at this, like Tron, TRX, you can see that if you played Tron, starting yesterday, actually, when it did this correction right here, you could have bought it in. You can probably put an order like at 749 Satoshis. Like, as you can see, this 0.000000749. Those are all Satoshis. One Satoshi, this is 749 Satoshis, and when it's it's one full Bitcoin. That's basically what that is. So this one is 749 Satoshis. If you bought it there, you could have wrote it up, pump up, sold it at 826 Satoshis. A couple hours later, do that again and pop up. But you can see that this is trajecting up. As you can see, it's going up. So I'm looking for coins that are actively trading up. The same thing that I do when I trade my ETFs and stocks. That's exactly what I look for as well. I think EOS pumped a lot today. Oh yeah, so on the last couple of days. So as you can see here, these lines, this is a Bollinger Band. Basically, the Bollinger Band, I use it as it shows you the like oversold, undersold levels as well, like similar to the RSI, but it also shows you how much volatility that coin is having. So the wider the Bollinger Band is, the more volatility the market, the more volatility that is for that particular time for this coin. So as you can see, when it's usually like it's small, like it's a small space in between the higher Bollinger Band and the low Bollinger Band, usually the volatility, the swings is really relatively small, right? But as you can see, when it opens up, it's like a big floodgate that opens. Like this is a mini stream. It goes into like a big river, right? And as you can see, the swings are a lot bigger. So you want to sort of get in your position right when it's about to pop. So if you got in here, I mean, this is not easy, guys, because of course you don't always know that this is going to happen. But when you're actively doing trades, this is what you would look for. So we look for it here, try to sell there, wait for it to go back down, sell again, and ride that wave. So that's basically what I do. This one is Ethereum and Bitcoin pairing. So this one just crashed. So you could buy here when it hits the bottom line, and then it'll bounce up, so you can make a little bit of a profit there. So that's basically what you could be able to do when you're looking for coins. I usually look for coins, like I said, that have a high volume, that are not going down. Like this one right here, Ripple. This is something that I probably would not trade. I would trade it when it was here because it was actively trading up. Because as you can see, if you, for example, you got in here, right, and you bought it here, you could have made money there. But if you bought it right here, you would not have made that money back because it trended down and you would have lost money. So I try not to buy things when they're in the upper Bollinger Bands. It's just because that means that it's probably gonna pop back down. And if you look at the RSI, just like right here, like I showed you guys in the last trade, at this point, it hit about the 81, and whenever it's above the 70 line, it's oversold. I mean, sorry, it's overbought. So it's probably going to crash down. You want to get it as close to the 30 or below 30 as possible. So if you bought here, this is about at 32. So if you bought here, it went up a little bit, so you would have made some gains there. You could have bought here, played that, and made some gains right here. And then as it passed this middle line right here, and it's going towards the higher Bollinger Band, then you sell, right? If you buy here, sell there, you could do that too. For me, I usually sell here. I don't know, I'm weird like that. I don't want to wait for it to go up, because what if it doesn't? I'm just scared. So I just buy it when I have some gains. I just sell it off. And then you could have bought again here and wait for it, and then sell right here, right? So that's something that you guys can be able to look into when trading cryptocurrency. So look for the high volume coins when you have an account with Binance, Bittrex, Poloniex. I like Binance, like I said, because there's a lot of liquidity in the market. And then look for coins that are actively trading up. You know, look at the RSI, look at the MACD. The RSI is when it's close to 70, it's overbought. When it's closer down to the 30 level, that it means it's oversold. That's probably going to go up, but it doesn't always happen. I mean, that's not always the case, because you have to look at other factors. So I like looking at the Bollinger Band because it's another good indicator, but you also have to understand the coin that you're investing in. I mean, there's coins that drop like crazy and it never recovers because the coin was a scam. So only invest in the coins. Maybe stick with the top 100 coins, top 50 coins if you can. And there's money to be made in any coin. I mean, some people just trade Bitcoin and USD, Bitcoin dollar, Bitcoin dollar, Bitcoin dollar. They do that. So people just trade Ethereum and Bitcoin back and forth, back and forth. So there's people that actively do that. But there's a lot of money to be made. There's a lot of gains to be made from investing in some of these. So like, you could just go down the list and look for the highest volumes. You usually would avoid like this one, right? This one, like 39 Bitcoin, 79 mod, BR bread, DLT. These are something that you probably want to avoid unless you really know what you're doing already. But I like to stick with the ones with the high volume. So you can either go do the ones that are going up. Usually the ones that are green are better, because it means that you could be able to it's already actively trading up. So you just want to wait for those corrections. It always corrects. And as soon as it corrects, it bounces up. See right here, it goes up, it bounces down, crashes, and this is a dead cat bounce. So as soon as it drops, it will bounce. If you can get in on this, you can make good significant gains on that. See, it goes up, and then it comes down, and then it'll bounce back up, even though it's not a lot. So just take the wins every time you can get them. Don't get greedy, and get out of the trades when you see some gains, right? Like I said, look at your compound daily calculator, look at what gains you're wanting to receive, and stick to them. Just look at my Robinhood account. I started with $200. I think I showed you on this video. I mean this channel a couple of days ago when it was like 250, I think. So now I'm gonna probably by tomorrow. I'm hoping that it's gonna be 280, closer to that. So in the last week, I would have earned $30. That's not bad. I mean, all percentage gains are good gains, right? So that's it for today, guys. I really appreciate your time today, and I hope you found some useful nuggets that you could be able to use and make money from this. Like I said, none of what I'm telling you is financial advice. Please do your own research. I'm gonna try to provide you as much information as I can. I'm also a newbie. I've only been doing this for a couple of months, and I'm basically sharing with you all the safe things that I'm doing. So just learn from it and then study more. Do your own research so that you can keep your investment, keep your money that you work hard for safe. I'm a conservative trader. Sometimes I gamble a little bit as well, but I try to keep it as conservative as possible. So like I said, I'm gonna do more videos for you guys. I'm gonna do some tutorials on everything that I've learned. Only the stuff that I've used. I'm not gonna share with you guys stuff that I don't use, because I don't believe in that. If I don't use it myself, if I don't make money from it, I'm not gonna share it with you guys. I'm also working on a book that I'm reading, and I'm gonna share that with you guys sometime this week, so I can share you my book morning podcast and the book review. They're personal development books that I share so that we can all be strong together as we grow and as we expand our capabilities in the rack grind day-to-day activities that we do. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. And until I see you on the next video, I wish you and your family have a success-filled day.